Brian Gewirtz read a quote from him today, which I had to drill into further because my interest was piqued, because I had no idea that today's product is garnering more attention than the Attitude Era. Better buzz, Steve is pointing out there that I should say. Better buzz. But the examples, let me read his exact quote so I don't paraphrase. Zoom in from you there, Steve-O. It says, obviously the money it's bringing in through rights deals to television shows, it's benefited from the fact that even though viewing is just so much more segmented now, WWE, like most live sports, is a show that you need to watch live. And not just in terms of television and rights fees, but in live events, 2 nights like WrestleMania, that's everything they ever wanted when I was there, and now it's a reality.
So that's so out of touch.
Was there a time where wait, there's another sentence. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to say that's out of touch. He says, so he goes to WrestleMania, which was, I mean, anybody that was there were people that had never seen pro wrestling before, that were Hollywood people, that thought like, oh my God, this is the second coming. Like they just thought that it was unbelievable. So if that, so you have to go to live events, but we just did very limited research since this came out today, but they barely do live events.
Right.
You know, so I mean, if you have to see this live, and we asked our 11 Soft crew, has anybody been to a house show? They all said no. So it's like, if you have to see this live, you can't say you have to see this live at a WrestleMania. It's like, no, if you have to see this live.
See, I interpreted that completely differently from his quote. When he said watch live, I thought he meant watch live as opposed to recording it.
No.
Like watch live at home. And I was saying, well, in 97, there was no DVR. You could just put your cassette tape in and set your VHS gimmick to record it that night. But there was much more live viewing then than now. Everyone DVRs everything.
That's not what he's talking. Put that back up.
Put it back up.
It's not what he's saying.
WWE in the middle, like most live sports, is a show that you need to watch live. And not just in terms of television and rights fees, but the live events, 2 nights of
Live
WrestleMania.
events. The 2 nights of WrestleMania and everything.
So attending, you think he means attending live as opposed to, well, he said watching live, so I thought it meant
watching. What's the difference between
watching in person or watching on TV? I went to watch on TV.
Yeah, and what's the difference in me watching if I didn't watch WrestleMania and I watch it 4 months later at the exact same time it would have been on, and had no idea that it says live up in the corner because it was at one point live. No, that's bullshit.
There's more. The second part of the quote deals with the actual programming and the tenor of the programming. It says, I'm going to bring that up. Okay. It's not even comparable to the way it was treated and presented in the Attitude Era. It's not that the women in the Attitude Era couldn't do the things that the women today are doing, but the mindset at the time was the audience does not want to see the women in a cage or a ladder match, and that mindset has had a complete 180 now. Does he go to the... there's also a quote about the family-friendly viewing now versus what was on television in the... and that I thought was the... okay, here, yeah. The days of sexually charged found itself in the middle of a boom period by doing mostly the opposite. Gone are the days of sexually charged, highly controversial storylines in their place, largely family-friendly programming is increasingly slipping into the mainstream.
Does that include the 40, or I guess now 51% that's pro-Trump, that thinks that he still is the president?
Been running it secretly? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Maybe
just saying that
they're factored in.
it's family friendly, where they I saw a thing the other day where as far as somebody that was trustworthy, and they had the people had Trump at this is the poll had Trump at 71% trustworthy, their spouse at 64, family and friends at like 51, and then their clergy at 42.
To Trump's what? 74?
71.
71.
But that he was the baron of truth. That was the standard. That so when you have those kind of numbers, and then Gewurz comes and follows it with that, I'm
That
thinking I'm not thinking that Gewurz is too left.
The last part I read about the family-friendly viewing, that was in the context of the article. That wasn't a quote from him. I just want to put that out there if anybody is confused about that. But that I didn't realize that was not a quote. Just about the last part about more
How does that
family-friendly
how
viewing
does
right
that
now.
family friendly viewing young rock show do? Is that
What young rock?
when does season 3 of that family friendly show start?
But you see that you have to keep context with this whole discussion. At the time, in the 90s, the Attitude Era, Crash TV, Vince Russo, whatever moniker you want to give it, what moved the needle was what popular culture, popular art culture, Tarantino films, grunge music, things had an edge back then. So there's a very different trope that's happening now with politeness and correctness, and
Yeah, because
my goddamn Dove soap commercial have skin disorders advertising soap now. I'm confused by all this. I'm
I
old
didn't
and
I
out of
didn't
touch.
if I was to watch television nowadays, I'm not too sure that I wanna see a woman have a ladder match. Or a cage match. I'm not too sure about that, but I do wanna know as much as I can about toenail fungus and any kinda eczema whatsoever, because that just seems to be that's what's fucking running this fucking country.
Ads have gotten really weird. I'll give you that. Listen,
When you've got eczema on your elbow, and then they tell you that fucking you can get kidney failure from taking the I think I'm gonna take the rash on my elbow over over kidney
oh, I
failure.
love the disclaimers they have to read. May cause death.
Jeez.
It's like, well, I'll keep the headache, motherfucker.
Yeah. Here's something I wanna say. There's so many people that are out there right now that suffer from migraine headaches and headaches. And the next time you get a headache, first off, go to the store and buy some Himalaya salt, okay? And take a teaspoon of Himalaya salt and put it in 4 ounces of water, stir it and drink it. And your headache will probably be gone in 15 minutes, because you have a covering that goes over your brain that holds fluid. And if you're dehydrated, it's tight and you get a headache. And people think like, well, I'm sitting here drinking water. You could drink all the pH 55, all the bullshit you want to. If there's not sodium in that, your body doesn't absorb it. That's why people, they sit there and they drink and drink and drink and drink and drink. They go, I don't understand why my ankles and feet are so swollen. I drank 4 quarts of water today. It's because there wasn't any salt in it. Your body didn't absorb it, and it's just sitting in your system. So it's like,
Well, all of the hydrating drinks, popular with sports drinks, and we even had a sponsor on here for a little while. I tried the powder that was a hydrating formula, did have a significant sodium content, and I guess that's
Usually like
the
180 milligrams.
right. So I guess that's the deal there. However, to get back to just for a second here, the nowhere in this article did I see a mention of ratings. Now I know it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. There's a lot more distraction now. Ratings figures are broken apart not just on network and cable, which is what we were dealing with in 1997, but you've got Netflix and Amazon and every other thing pulling attention, YouTube pulling attention from television. So of course nothing's going to get the fives that Nitro was getting back in the day. So I get
Yeah,
that.
but my question is this. So if that's the case, and we say, Monday Night Football actually considered moving Monday Night Football to Thursdays because we were doing a solid 10-11 between the two shows. Now, that didn't happen. It was short-lived. But if you went by those kind of numbers, but the WWE was probably worth $20 million back then. Now it's worth $9 billion. So when you make a comment like the business is where it, guess what, man? Like, you would not believe how advanced Tesla is over the Model T. It's like, come on, man. It's like you
There are
can't.
more appendages to the business with social media and
Oh,
streaming
wait,
and the
there
network
wasn't
and
there wasn't a you didn't have an option. You were still to get inside you either had to buy a sheet, you either get the Observer or the Torch,
Mhm.
or you had to get at a buck 99 a minute or 99 cents a minute, get
hotline stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
hotline shit. I mean, it's just you can't compare the two.
it was a different time for sure.